Hey guys! Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Judy, and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to get back into the Slayton Sisters, the 1,000 Pound Sisters, episode 4 review. We are gonna do it. It seems like it always takes me a few days to get to this. I unfortunately can't watch live. I'm usually busy, I'm usually doing something. I also don't know if I have access to live TV from TLC or not. Either way, as you can tell by now, I usually get to it a few days after, but I appreciate all the support y'all have given these videos. I hope you all continue to enjoy them and that today will be no different than your previous experiences with my reviews. Now, before we get to the actual review, I wanted to talk a little bit about what the Slaytons are saying on the internet because, wow, y'all, they just say a whole lot more than I would expect them to about the show, about things that are going on. In particular, our girl Tammy posted a video recently and also did an Instagram Q&A, which these girls love their Instagram Q&As. And I feel like she shared some stuff that's important in both of those things. In particular, I'm gonna start with the video, which I think was only posted a day or two ago, so it was posted after the most recent episode was aired. But I just wanna cover a few things that she talks about there. So in her update video, Tammy talks about a whole lot of things. The first thing that she lets us know that I feel is valuable information to know, even though it's way TMI, is that she's had diarrhea for 14 days.
I have been really sick off and on since December 17th. I can't get rid of this sinus pressure. Now my voice is trying to go out. It is coming back. I sound better than what I did the last couple days. And this is completely TMI and I'm aware of it, but I've had diarrhea for 14 days. I'm finally starting to get over that. And
then ultimately, ended up going to the hospital to get things checked out because she really wasn't feeling good and that her knee lacks all cartilage and she basically is having a tough time taking care of herself. She also notes that she still does use a walker.
I twisted my knee. That's the only thing I can think I've done because I didn't fall. So I twisted my knee. When I go into my bathroom, the bathroom door is kind of narrow. I can fit through it sideways. But to get my walker in there, yes, I still use my walker. I have to now. Keep watching the show. We're on episode 5 coming up. Episode 4 just played 2 days ago. Anyways.
And indicates that we should keep listening or watching the show to find out more about why she allegedly has to use the walker. She also brings up Amy giving her a bath in the first episode and claims that she didn't need that.
Yeah, in the first episode you did see Amy giving me a bath, but I didn't need Amy's help. Honest to God, I didn't. They made Amy come in there and do this. People think I depend on Amy all the time. Yeah, there are certain things I do depend on Amy, like going to get my groceries or going to get me food and my medicine, paying my bills because she's my payee, and my laundry. I can't do my laundry. I don't have a washer and dryer. So yeah, I do depend on Amy some. Before bathing and, now I do, but before I didn't.
I don't know. How are we supposed to know for sure if she really did or did not need that? You know what I'm saying? I do believe that TLC probably has produced some of the moments and the scenes that we've seen. I certainly don't believe that all reality TV is real. So, I think it's possible. But also, Tammy has demonstrated on the show and even verifies in this video that she posted that she needs Amy's help for a lot of things. I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about that, but I thought it was interesting that Tammy chose to bring that up and talk about the actual production of the show because I feel like my understanding of reality TV productions is that, you know, they don't really want to give up the illusion, right? Like they want you to believe that everything is real, even though like if you're smart, you'll probably realize that like naturally some of these things wouldn't just happen without some kind of like producers goading people in a certain type of way. She also talks about her kittens, which if you didn't know, she had 2 kittens. She no longer has them, and about having to rehome them because she couldn't take care of them due to her poor health.
Okay, so y'all know I have 2 kittens. And because I got sick and because I'm not able to take care of myself completely right now, I did rehome my kittens. I really didn't want to. I really didn't want to because I did love them. And yeah, they got on my nerves when they wouldn't listen. When they wouldn't listen and leave the curtains alone and stuff like that. But the people I give the kittens to are like friends, and one lives right up the road from us. And the other one's my nephew and his wife-to-be. So they took him. And they're going to be taken good care of. And I'd rather rehome them than let them suffer with me. It wouldn't be right. I could take care of them. You can ask Amy. I took care of them up until last week of having them. They had to feed them for me. And then my niece Emily changed the cat litter once for me. I don't know, y'all are gonna like throw hate at me and shade at me and all this other stuff because I did rehome them, but to me it was the right thing to do. But to be honest, I didn't want any cats. I wanted a dog, but my aunt didn't have any dogs. She only had the kittens.
And honestly, for me, I mean, I'm glad that they're rehomed, but like she hasn't had those for that long, and it just really frustrates me and kind of goes back to other concerns people have had about both Amy and Tammy when it comes to like taking care of animals. And for me, it's like, you should have used like wanting a pet or a companion in that way as motivation to get yourself healthier before you ever put those cats in a situation where you might not have been able to take care of them. You already were having difficulties doing a lot of things just for yourself. And I'm gonna believe Tammy when she says at one time she was able to take care of them. But the fact that you didn't think to take into account all of the things that could happen to your health, considering where you're at right now in your journey, it just screams irresponsibility. And I'm frustrated that you had cats to begin with, to be quite honest with you, but I'm glad that you have at least done the right thing to like find a new home for them, and hopefully the people that you found will be responsible pet owners. And then the last thing about her video that I just thought was funny but doesn't necessarily relate to their weight loss journey, although I guess it could, because I don't know why somebody would be eating pulled pork and a potato with lots of cheese on it while on a weight loss journey diet. Like that seems like maybe not the best option you could make. But Amy and Michael come in while she's filming, into her house while she's filming this video, and she doesn't do any editing. She just uploads whatever happens as it happens. When Amy walks in with this pulled pork potato monstrosity, Tammy says, "What are you, Amberlynn?" And I literally started cackling, because basically she was shading Amberlynn's baked potato monstrosity. So I also want to share a few things that Tammy answered on her Instagram Q&A that I just think provide some insight into how our girl is actually doing on this weight loss journey. Some of the ones I originally was going to share, I think were covered in the span of the video that she posted. So I'm just gonna share a few that I don't feel were covered by that. So one question she got was, what is the hardest thing about losing weight? And her response was, giving up soda and all the fried foods, because that's mostly what restaurants have nowadays. Please the ones around us. restaurants and the more healthier options besides dang salads. Now, if you can get past the grammar and the English language there, I think what she's trying to say is like going out to restaurants is hard because they mostly have fried food and the only healthy options they have are salad. And my thoughts are, girl, like how often are you going out to restaurants? And also, like, if the option's there, take a salad, girl. Like, you don't have to get fried food. She also answered a question about how she feels about being portrayed on the show. The person specifically asked, how do you feel about how you're being portrayed on the show? Someday I'm also going to be able to talk as well as Tammy Slayton. And her response was, no, not really, because people are getting the wrong idea about me. They think everything is a woolly Tammy. And Tammy's just me and mean and ungrateful. That's not the truth. Now, I guess she's basically just saying like people are wrong to think that she's selfish, entitled, blah, 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 blah. But like, honestly, even in this most recent episode, like, that's all I see, girl. And you know, you and I talk privately and you are nice. And I do think one of the best things that's happened for you is you getting your own place. But girl, you're pretty entitled in these episodes. So she also recently had posted a picture of herself with a pipe where she was smoking some kind of substance. And a person asked, why do you smoke weed? And she said, to relax and helps with pain. And I say, sis, do what you want, but keep in mind that you do live in a state where it's not legal. So you're putting us all on blast. I mean, your life, your choices, girl. Another person said, what advice would you give someone trying to lose weight? What helps you? And her response was, don't give up. I found for me to treat myself at least once a week. What is how I kept on track? I'll tell you in like shows like The Biggest Loser to treat yourself at least once a week. So girls out here still treating herself. So there's that. I don't know what Dr. Hottie would think about that. And then one thing I just want to share to clarify, because I think people get confused that this is like being filmed in real time. She did get a question that said, how long ago were the episodes filmed? And she said from May 1st until December 16th. So a lot of people think that the episodes that are airing like right now is what's happening in her life. And like, y'all, no. It's not the case. Like, use some critical thinking. It's clear that this was filmed starting a long time ago if you just think about it and use your head. And then she did post one question that asked, how did you get the show? How were you discovered? And her response was, because Amy and I are YouTubers, all followers contacted TLC for us to do the Family by the Ton. But then when TLC came down here, Shimmer Lights, never mind. We're giving you your own show because they like our personalities and I like what we bring to the table. So there's that as well, which I think is fascinating if people really did reach out to the show on her behalf. It also explains how potentially people like Amber Lynn have been contacted by people. I could definitely see people being extra and being like, Amber Lynn needs your help, Doctor Now, please help her. So that's all I got for that part of the show. But I do want to talk about the actual 1,000 Pound Sisters episode 4, and share my thoughts on what happened, what some of my highlights were. Now, I will say, I literally just yesterday went and saw Little Women in theaters and I wept. And I was not planning on weeping. So I am clearly overly emotional right now, and I will have to be honest with you up front. This episode was just sad for me all around. Like, it just seemed to lack the same, like, poo-poo pee-pee jokes. I mean, there was at one point a joke about farts, which we'll get to, but like, it just lacked that like lightheartedness, which I guess makes sense. Like, weight loss journeys do involve a lot of emotion, but it was just kind of sad. So we left off the last episode with Amy and Tammy fighting, and we start this episode off with Amy and Michael having a nice romantic Cajun-style dinner out at a restaurant. And they're both a little bit flustered because all they know how to order is fried gator tail. So there's that. They even went as far to ask, ma'am, Ma'am, do y'all know if we could get this not fried? And I'm just like, woo, to live in Kentucky and have the joys of gator. Now, I'm being silly. I've actually also eaten gator before in my life, so it is what it is. But wow, that gator tail. So they obviously go with such a healthy alternative choice, which is like some sauce-covered shrimp on some rice. It looked like a Creole Cajun, some kind of dish. I don't know, I'm not super familiar with that cuisine, but it didn't look like the healthiest thing that they could have probably purchased. But live your truth, Amy and Michael. They basically were meeting because Amy feels like for the 3 months that she has been married to Michael, that only the 2 months were really good, and it was the third month when Tammy moved in, and now she feels like she's just like lost this connection, this alone time that she used to have with Michael. They think that Tammy is just jealous of Amy because she has such a catch in Michael, and they have decided that they want to try to get Tammy out of the house, and that there is a spot next door, which feels like you're still going to be really helping her out a lot if she's going to live right next door. But they said, there's a house next door. We want you out. We want you to go live there. So they're sitting there talking about these plans. And then the next scene comes to where Tammy and Amy sit down, and they eventually talk about that. But when Tammy gets in there, she has her walker. She comes on into the living room. She sits down. And Amy's just sitting there minding her own damn business. And Tammy gives her a look. And it's like, ooh, what you looking at? Was basically what Tammy did. And I'm like, girl, you just sat down. Amy wasn't looking at a single thing. Like, what? And then she just like goes all out and has this attitude. And I don't understand why Tammy always thinks that everybody else around her has this attitude. When it's like, Tammy, you're the one with the attitude, and you are eliciting that same energy from other people, because when you come at people with an attitude, they're going to give you an attitude right back. So Amy is honest with Tammy, says, I think this isn't really working out. We need more space between each other if we're going to be successful in this journey. And basically, we want you to move into this house next door. And Tammy gets frustrated. She says, how dare you leave me out of this decision? I deserve to keep living here rent-free with y'all, even though y'all are the ones that graciously took me in. Like, I should get to be a part of this decision if I have to leave. At one point, Tammy is talking about how she feels like everybody's just like out to get her and is being mean and being rude and saying that they don't want her there. And Amy's just straight up like, I think you're hearing voices. Because none of us have said half of these things that you're saying we've said. And I think you're hearing the voices. And Amy also goes on to talk a little bit about how like Tammy thinks about the world around her, and in fact says, but the world is not evolved around you. And I just love that. Obviously what she means is the world doesn't revolve around you, as in like Tammy's not the center of the universe, but probably the world is also not evolving around Tammy. Tammy acknowledges that she can't cook her own food, that she can't buy her own food, and that she does rely on them. And I think that's what Tammy's most scared about, is like, how am I gonna go live somewhere by myself? Like, I will probably not be able to get access to my food, which I think is concerning. It's a concerning place to be coming from, because that is scary. Like, if you depend on your livelihood, on being able to sustain yourself on other people, and they're like, see you later, smell you later, get out of my house, I can see how that would be scary. I also could see everything that Amy and Michael are saying, and that like she's slowing down their process, their marriage, their everything. It does overall make me really sad to see them arguing in this scene. At one point, Amy talks about how, they're on the same team and they got to be there to support each other. And I'm just like, yeah, like, y'all unfortunately are at this place in your lives where you're all you got. you got each other. You have to be on the same team, and it makes me so sad to see them like bickering with each other and not getting on the same page and things like that. Like, I just want the best for them, and I think the best for them is working together. And I don't necessarily think that that means like together in the same space, but they do have to be able to get along. Like, the only people that know what their experience is like is them. Like, they're from the same family, they have the same family history growing up. They both have had problems with their weight, and I think that if they could just hone their love for each other to help support each other, that they could do so much. So they do head back to Atlanta to get a check-in from Dr. Hottie. Neither of them has weighed themselves because they didn't want to go to the junkyard. Tammy has been eating not as many fried foods, so she thinks she's right on track. And then they do manage to make it the whole way to Atlanta without Michael killing them, at least that we see on screen. So they finally make it to the doctor, and Amy's the first one to go in and talk to Dr. Hottie. And when she gets there, she sits down with him. You know, she leads him to believe that she's made some changes, that she has, you know, done the work. And she was originally supposed to lose 25 pounds. And so she gets on the scale, he weighs her in, and she has lost 10 pounds. So she is now at 390 pounds. So she didn't even get halfway to her overall goal weight. And I have to say, Dr. Hottie was way nicer than Dr. Now ever is. Like, if Amy had pulled that bullshit with Dr. Now would have said, you should have lost 30 pounds. What are you doing? And Dr. Proctor was like, well, I'm glad to see you've made some progress. And it's fascinating because I really think like it's clear that she wasn't making wonderful choices. But you know, Dr. Hottie maybe has a different approach to things. I do know, I've only recently realized and learned that he is the same doctor for Family by the Ton, which is not a show that I watch. So he clearly probably has experience and knows what he's doing. But I was just surprised by like how nice he was about her only losing 10 pounds, because it really feels like she should have done more. The whole time I was also thinking, like, if this is what Amy did, then this is not looking good for our girl Tammy. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen when she eventually gets onto the scale. But anyways, Dr. Hottie sets a new goal for her to get down to 375 pounds. So that seems like a good goal for her, about the same amount of weight that he wants her to lose again. I do think that this helps Amy feel more confident, or at least she says it does. But I think it's gonna help her feel confident to say like, hey, like some of the choices I was making were good, so let's just like amp this up and keep doing it to even a greater extent so that I can really get to where I need to go. Tammy, of course, goes in next, and she was supposed to lose 60 pounds. Before she weighs in, she takes a quick moment to throw Amy under the bus, and she is like, yo, Dr. Hottie, just so you know, I don't get myself food, so any bad stuff that I've ever eaten, it's because Amy brought it in to me. So Tammy weighs in. She's now at 600.2 pounds, which is an 8-pound loss. So she lost just about as much weight as Amy did, but the problem is that she's clearly got a lot more weight to lose than what Amy has to lose. So it's like, you know, she could have just had a good day in terms of like water weight, you know? So Dr. Hottie clearly has some serious doubts about Tammy's commitment to the program, but he's still like relatively nice to her while saying that he has doubts. Tammy says that she thinks that she needs Amy to be more helpful, but Dr. Hottie is actually like, sis, ma'am, girl, child, father, brother, daughter, sister, child, mother, aunt. Like, you need to focus on becoming more independent so that you can't sit here and use Amy as your excuse. And he also, I mean, he was pretty nice about it again, but he does go as far to say like, Tammy girl, you're not gonna live much longer if you keep doing this. So he keeps the goal for her the same. She still needs to lose 60 pounds. And he also says like, y'all need to go to the bariatric psychologist. So they do show a little bit of Tammy vlogging about how she's feeling after the appointment with the doctor, and it's just really sad. Like, it's clear that she emotionally gets that she has to do something, but it doesn't seem like she gets that she really has to do something, right? Like, I think she knows she's in danger, but I think she doesn't realize the real amount of work she needs to put in to make sure that those things don't happen, that she does keep living a healthy life. So they finally go to therapy, and honestly, I'm so happy to see it. We love to see it, quite honestly, truly. I've been saying it in almost every single video that like they really, really need to learn how to communicate with each other in a healthy way, because I genuinely do believe that they love and care about one another. They just don't know how to communicate their feelings. So I was happy to see that they got an appointment with Dr. Ritz. It starts off with Amy talking about how much she does care about Tammy, and she talks about how she does get frustrated when Tammy does all of these things that aren't good for her and like isn't trying, and she talks about how she's like caring but in an abrasive way. And I guess I get that, but like also Tammy's not a child. Like, Tammy doesn't need hand-holding, right? So I don't know that I see it as abrasive. I think it's more so just that, like, Amy is dealing with Tammy's attitude and she's fed up and she lives with her 24/7. And so that on top of not knowing how to communicate in general, it comes out as not as nice. At the same time as Dr. Ritz is talking about, maybe Amy coming across as abrasive, he also spares no qualms about holding Tammy accountable for her behavior and saying like, girl, you gotta stop being so dependent on your sister. And he actually talks about codependency and how it's really bad that, that they have this like codependent relationship, and that it's actually bringing Amy down because she's not putting herself first above Tammy. And Amy in this whole scene actually just like breaks my heart. This is the part where I was like literally sitting on my couch like weeping, because Amy's like, I feel so bad. I take on a lot of guilt and worry about everybody. I worry about Tammy. I worry about my mom. I worry about Michael. I worry about myself probably last. I just feel so bad because when I was little, I used to put my food on Tammy's plate, and I just often think about how like, am I the reason that Tammy's fat? And it was sad. And I do appreciate that like Tammy had some self-awareness to be like, hey, I don't want you to worry about me like that. Like, it's not your fault that I got fat as a child. Like, I would have made those choices anyways. And I wish she could apply that same lens and logic to thinking about things now, because I think that Amy does feel bad when she can't help out Tammy and does feel some kind of responsibility for helping her. And I wish that Tammy would be like, yeah, I'm causing my sister to feel really bad all the time for not being able to do enough for me, and maybe I should like try to do more for myself to take some of that weight off of her shoulders. So basically at the end of it all, Dr. Ritz says, Amy, you gotta worry about yourself first. You gotta put yourself first in this journey. And then he tells Tammy that she needs to become more independent. And I think that that's great advice for both of them. And I think that it also was really helpful for Amy to get a lot of that stuff off of her chest, because it was clear that she'd been holding on to some shit for a long, long time. So they finally make it back to Kentucky and they say, we're gonna go swimming. We sure are. And Tammy was like, the first time I tried to go swimming, it was a bust because I got scared of steps. So they signed up to go to the local like YMCA or something and take a water aerobics class with a bunch of old ladies. And Tammy's still scared of the stairs. So there's not a staircase or set of stairs for her to get into the actual pool area like the last time, but to get into the actual pool, there are stairs that lead into the pool that she has to get down. So she's really scared of it. But what I will say is like, I'm so proud of her for actually trying. And it was clear once she tried that she was having the time of her life. And it was so good to see her moving and getting that exercise in. She seemed to really be enjoying it. She seemed to enjoy being out of the house. And like, I literally was just so proud of her. And I was like, I wish you could apply this same sense of like wanting to try to everything else in your life, right? Like, think about how hard it was for you to try out the swimming thing, how much you enjoyed it and appreciated it. Now think about how much it might be great to try to like cook yourself food, and how how freeing it might be to be able to care for yourself instead of having somebody else do it for you. I think she might be surprised with how much freedom and joy she gets from something so simple. The other thing that happened while they were swimming is one of them farted. Tammy said that she looked like a dolphin, and then they joked about how much they enjoyed the bubbles, how the bubbles felt when they farted. And I was just like, thank y'all. This is my one pee-pee poo-poo moment of the episode. I really, truly, surely do appreciate it. So thank you for giving me that moment, because I cackled. So then there's a scene with Michael and Amy sitting on their porch. It's a cute little scene at first. Well, the whole thing's cute. I don't know why I said at first, but they start off by talking about how Amy is scared that if something were to happen in surgery because of her weight, because of her health, that like she might not make it. And one thing that had been weighing on her was that she didn't have like a real wedding with Michael because they got married at the courthouse. Not a lot of people showed up. And so she really wants to have like a real wedding with Michael before she gets the surgery. And I think that that's sweet. I think that that's cute. Like, that does make sense. I also am surprised though that it wasn't actually the opposite, that like she got the surgery and she's like, wow, now I really feel great about myself. I feel great about how I look and I want to have like a real wedding. Either way, I see both sides, and it looks like from the previews we're gonna get a Slayton Halterman wedding next episode, so I really can't wait for that. In the same conversation, she also tells Michael that if she was approved for weight loss surgery and Tammy wasn't, that she thinks she would probably go forward without her, which I think is great. That makes the most sense to me. Like, you can't wait for Tammy. At this point, Tammy hasn't demonstrated that she's trying at all, right? So yeah, I think you do have to put yourself first. And then at the same time, like, once you get healthier, you're gonna have more energy available to assist your sister in her weight loss and things like that. So I really think that Amy would be real dumb to turn down surgery until Tammy was ready. I just like don't think that that's realistic. So the next scene is Michael bringing in a scale that he bought from a store. And spoiler alert, it only goes up to 550 pounds. And I'm just bummed. I'm bummed because y'all couldn't Amazon Prime the Hello It's Ready scale. Somebody send Amy and Tammy the Hello It's Ready scale because they need it. All these other YouTubers have it. Why don't the Slayton sisters? I also laughed during this point because Tammy's like, I just think it's so ridiculous that the stores don't give scales that go up to 600 pounds. And I was just like, sis, there is not a large, no pun intended, market for that. Like, people who are that heavy are a very small percentage of the population. With that also being said, there are scales out there that do it and you can buy them online. I.e. the Hello It's Ready scale. So Amy does weigh herself again, and she's lost all of 1.4 pounds since she was at the doctor. So I don't even know why they showed her weighing herself again. If not just because they were just trying to get her to argue with Tammy about a scale and weighing yourself, because she really wanted Tammy to try the scale. And Tammy was like, no, I know I weigh more than 550 pounds, so it's not gonna work, and I don't want to get worked up about that, which I get that part. That makes sense to me. So then leads to another argument though between Amy and Tammy. Tammy is upset because she wants to get out more. She wants to go swimming, to take care of herself, and that she isn't going to be able to really lose the weight if she doesn't start getting out of the house more. Amy emphasizes that she don't care because she is on the right path, which like, I think she could have been kinder about how she said it, but also true. Like the psychologist said that Amy needed to start prioritizing herself more, and I think that that's true. So that leads Tammy to asking like, well, Amy, if you get surgery first, or if you get there first but I can't get it, are you gonna get it? And Amy's like, yeah, duh. Do you think I'm stupid? And Tammy's like, well, I don't think that that's us doing this together then. We're not doing the journey together if we're not getting it at the same time, Amy. So then Amy's like, well, then what you're saying is you want to hold me back. You're trying to hold me back right now. Is that what you're saying? And so Tammy just feels like you know, if Amy were to do this, it would just be like abandoning her, leaving her behind. And I honestly don't see it that way at all. I think Amy needs to get it as soon as she's able to. I think she deserves to do that. And I think that if Tammy wants to be on the same page as Amy, then Tammy needs to put up or shut up, you know? She needs to poop or get off the pot, because homegirl isn't ever gonna get there if she keeps allowing herself to make excuses about trying, right? So I think Amy's out here really committed to doing what she needs to do, and I just like don't see it for Tammy. So that's where the episode leaves off. Overall, like, this wasn't my favorite episode. It was also a lot more sad than some of the other episodes. It didn't have as many of the like hijinks between the sisters. So that's that, but I have a lot of faith that future episodes will continue to bring the laughs, and I did enjoy it overall. Like, I do think the emotional side of the journey is important as well, so I'm glad we got to see a little bit of that. As always, I'll leave a playlist of all of the Slayton Sister videos I've ever made down below, including my reviews on other episodes. If you enjoyed this video and you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. I do a lot of reactions and commentary like this. Also, please make sure to hit the bell button so you get a notification every single time I post a new video or go live. Leave me some comments down below, hit the like button, and follow me on all of my social media. I had such a great time with you all today, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!